Hello everyone, so today we'll be having a 10 hand session against the GTO. So this is NL500, although I should probably be practicing NL50. And let's confirm that's gonna be post-flop situations. Basically it's gonna randomize the pre-flop for us, and then we will try to acquire the best move basically scored by the GTO, not necessarily winning the hands, but doing the most optimal moves towards the EV. So we are with the pocket sixes and that's a button that pretty much, so it's a 3-bet situation where the UTG opened, then we had a 3-bet by the button, and we called after them, and then we had a fold from the UTG. So this signifies a very strong range from the button. On top of this, we are in position, and this board is pretty much in their favor, but we never know, we might have a chance. So let's float, let's see if there's gonna be a bet coming, probably will. Now that's mean size, like a small bet, and reasonable. So it's kind of polarized situation. We cannot like just call here and like expect to check the river as well, and then it would be devastating to go with a small raise as well, because it's gonna get followed by another raise. So the only thing we can do is either go very big raise like pot, or we can just check, but pretty much a fold is not a bad idea as well here. So we're gonna go with check this time, and now we have a card that changes nothing. So we still have to check. Is like any other move would be a suicide move in this situation. And then we got the turn, but we have to fold it now, because one thing we can do is we can bluff this line, but we cannot now, because what happened is we didn't raise with the pot size on the flop, so we cannot bluff a straight here. We're pretty much capped, and basically if we have a team value we might win it at showdown, but it's better to fold here. And that wasn't so bad, as I mentioned. This was polarized, so it should have been fold or a very big raise in my opinion, but no, actually no raise at all, because their range was very strong in that situation. But see, even with a strong range they still had like a losing hand, if that makes sense. So yeah, it wasn't gonna be that bad to actually raise them, just so we can bluff the river. And yeah, so against the GTO it's not the best move, but then we did what was expected from us. Oh, we could have even like bluffed here, like basically it's a board we can bluff. So let's speed up. This was kind of like a warming up hand. It's like an easy one, but we were up against strong range. So let's see how we're gonna play the next one. So we are the big blind defending against the hijack 776. So we're a out of position player, so probably a check, because basically our range is capped, but we are having all the 7-6s, 8-7s, 6-5s, so basically 7 and 6x's basically. With the JT we are not getting towards a needed hand very easily. We need both 8 and 9, and most is going to improve with the pairs. So we might want to put pressure on the high cards with a small bet, but fighting for this spot is probably not worth it, because we can pretty much get raised easily. So check is probably the best move against this range, and then we're gonna get min raised ourselves. So that's foldable. So one way we can do is check the turn and fold the turn, or we can just fold here. So I'm just gonna fold it here. and king 9. That was good. So you see, it wasn't a good idea to put the pressure on the high cards. They were on a flush draw, even on a straight draw. And let's go to the next one. So pocket 10s, and we're at the cutoff against the button. That's an interesting spot, and it's a very big blind. So now this is like the board that is either ship it or fold it. So we got raised and then re-raised, then we were the ones 5 betting and then we got caught. So one way here is just like ship it in this situation against like real players. And then what we can do is we can just check, obviously. Don't want to go with a small bet. Putting pressure on high cards is the last thing we want to do, because it's just gonna make it easier for them to call, and we can still lose to jacks, kings, queens, aces. So let's see what they're gonna do. We can do a delayed bet. So they raise this, so now we can just ship it. And that's a nice queen, and we're gonna win it. So it's a correct move, but this was kind of a risky one, because obviously we knew that they're in the higher cards. We just hope they don't have the high pockets, basically, like jacks, like queens, kings, aces. And then what happened is once we checked, they pretty much like had to like bet, right? And then yeah, we couldn't go small. Check was like pretty much like unfavorable. Yeah, we should have gone aggressive first, but in a way we actually tricked the GTO into calling us, and then we went all in. So we're in a huge pot against the GTO, not something easy to happen. That's actually a even though correct move is not suggested one, so we could have like go with up to a 3/4 raise, so that was gonna be a little bit better EV, but was still shippable. This was pretty much our bet. Oh, actually, our move was correct. It was either a small raise or a all-in, so we did alright. Jack 4, we got a top pair, low kicker. My throat is giving up. It's easier to deal with the GTO than with my throat. So basically we got check behind, which should mean a weak range, given that they called. So we can double barrel this. It's either 75, 50 or 33. We have to mix it in a real situation, so we can commit with 33 this time. That's a fold. So yeah, basically if the GTO called, I was gonna bet either 50 or 60% on the next one, depending on the river. Obviously we probably wouldn't go as aggressive against kings, queens, aces. Let's see the next one. Ace 10, we're at big blind and we're defending against hijack, so we just called, and that's an easy check here because their range is uncapped and we are quite capped. So that's another card that is so what happens here is we might have called with a suited hand, but even if we have the flush, we should still check, because obviously we want to gain value from it. And then if we are bluffing it, we should have started earlier, basically, because we were gonna be on a draw. So now it's a little bit too late to over-bluff it. And then we can just check again, and let's see. Okay, so this pretty much signifies that the range of the enemy is kind of weak. and we can either go with value bet, but since they opened, it means that they might have the ace with a better second kicker, and what happens is we need to go with a slightly bigger raise just to put pressure on those high cards that are not like pocket pairs, and make them folded basically, and this is what we want. We got code, so it was tens, yeah, so it's high cards. We hit blocker for them, but what happens is this was kind of a bad move because we're out of position first of all, and check was the best move. So we pretty much lost the chance to bluff this line. It could have happened on the, this was kind of risky on the turn. It could have happened here on the flop. It was gonna change, like we could have like even though capped, we could have a perceived stronger range than we actually had once we checked in this flop. And since they had pretty much nutted hand, because obviously there is no better card on the board, is and this is how we did a blunder, but it wasn't a bad bluff actually. In like real situations, given they have something like ace king, probably would go, but like ace jacks we might fold, ace queens, this is the kind of range we want to fold, like king jacks. Even though we are winning, it's like team value, so it's okay to turn it into a bluff, because if they have like the king jack, is like probably they're not gonna be reopening, and either we go with a very small bet for value, which might get folded obviously, and then going bigger is better actually. But this time we did a mistake against the GTO, that's for sure. Okay, so what happened here now is where the button we opened, we got re-raised, then we re-raised again, we got called. So the out of position player as a small blind decides to slow play, so that's the 4-bet from us. So basically we have a uncapped range, and they are pretty much capped, so this is signifying something like pocket pair basically, is the most likely hand they have. And then we cannot fold this kind of range. It can be like a suited high cards basically, like connected like ace king, like probably would get like a win by an ace king, but could be like jacks in this situation. So we don't have any draws. They might have the 7-8s as well, 9-8s, 10-9s, jack 10 suited, like this kind of hand. So we need to be careful because they might have a set or at least a pair here. So we're up against capped but still strong range. So let's check the next card. And now we have a high card because I already started giving the reason. So this is going in our favor. The reason for it is because they capped themselves before the pre-flop, and now they might have the 9 pair, or they might be on a straight draw, even a flush draw they might have. But since there is no knitted hand yet, it's like pretty much pairs and 2 pair potentially. Only the set is like, only if they have the 9s would make sense for them to play like this, because 5s they would fold, deuces they would fold, queens they wouldn't play like this. So we can overbet this. It's not even suggested overbet, but this is either like 33. It gives us 25. So it's definitely like a big bet situation, unlike a real game, because we want to chase away in that enemy. I would go with 75 here, but I think against the GTO the best would be 10. Because we want to gain some value in that situation if we have the card, and now is the time where we can increase the pressure on them like 61 because we want to fold these pocket things, but they actually didn't fold, so it's a wrong move. And then yeah, basically any bet was okay up to 50%, and then the check was the best play basically. So we tried to fold the GTO, but it wasn't gonna go down that easily, and this was strong check at all, but actually it wasn't that bad with both. We could either go win or 70-60. EV wise, we didn't lose as much as betting small, so yeah, we pretty much had a very good idea about their range. We used the board to bluff them, but that wasn't enough to fold them. Basically, I think the all-in was likely to elicit a fold. I wouldn't do all-in in a real game. Mostly would be like 125%, 150, something like this, but the GTO doesn't suggest it in this situation for some reason, and you see the EV actually increases with the bluff size. So that was a polarized spot. It wasn't that bad to check either, but yeah, we only had like air, so against pocket pair, no chance. Next, see the next hand, sevens. We got the hand we just lost against 2, so 4.5. It's a small pot, and then we just called by the big blind defending against them. It's high cards, but they don't necessarily have like a strong range, even though they might have a straight here. So I think value betting is kind of a good idea. Now we just got the yeah, and the third spade, so we're on a draw for a flush, so we can double barrel this one, but it wouldn't be a very good idea. And then we can probably bluff the river if we just check back the turn, better than just betting the turn, and then it would be very difficult to fold the enemy on the river if you barrel them twice in a row. So yeah, I would just check this one, even in a real game. Now we have a second ace. Now that's interesting because they definitely have the ace X's. King 10 is quite a possibility, but with King 10 they would probably raise us. So we're having all the kings, we're having the 10-9 even we have, and we also have the aces, the queens, the jacks. So against the suited hand we actually have a better knitted hand with this river. We can even bluff the fact that we had set on the flop, and then we just improve to a full house. Let's say we can fold the flushes they have, but that would be risky. Probably checking behind is probably the best play here. I would just try to fold the GTO with a very oversized bluff, and that's gonna be a call. Queen jack into pair, and that was a correct move actually. Interesting. I was expecting punishment from the GTO. We lost the hand, that's one thing to say, but let's see how we actually played that one. So it was yeah, it was supposed to be more on the side of the check, but betting with a mixed strategy was okay, as long as it wasn't an oversized one. And then okay, so we should have double barreled the turn. This way we could have pretty much yeah, it was like we should have increased the aggression here. Reason being is that's interesting to go back and think it again now. So reason is I was expecting something like a suited hand from their range. That's why I would call, but obviously queen jack is another hand you can go with this, getting hit with a 2 pair. They didn't really show how strong their range was. Something like a raise would probably be like a good indication they have like a 2 pair, and then yeah, basically the check was okay here in fact, but we could have increased aggression, that's for sure. And then the interesting bluff was actually Okay, 75 and 125, 150. Mixed strategy was, imagine, it was even better than a check. And a small bet, so going aggressive ourselves here was actually a correct move, and that's interesting. The GTO rewards this kind of bluffing. So we got a bottom pair, flush board, and we are the out of position player as well. So we code, and so how would we play against the UTG in a real game? So this is like a very strong range most of the times, and it only gives us the option to go with value bet. So value bet would be if we actually have flush that's not needed, I would say, but with needed flush we wouldn't really go with the bet because we want them to commit more chips since they have a strong range, and on the second thing is they might have the needed flush as well, so it's only reasonable to check here. And now we're gonna get a value bet. So we can float this flop. Now we can even improve here, like even full houses are possible, like a small chance, but at least a set we can get. We're still losing to the flush, but we can't know for sure they have the flush, they might be on a flush draw, so we can float or raise. I wouldn't raise here. Now we have a queen, which is another card that goes in favor of their range, but since they were the one betting us, we just need to pass the turn to them, no need to stop them from betting. Either a check raise we can do here, or decide on the river basically. So check raise the turn or the river. So against a recreational player, like somebody who is playing for fun, I would probably raise here. And against the GTO, fold seems like the best option. But we can still check the river and see what we do. 5. So we have the 3-4 in our range suited, so it would make sense to play like this for sure on the flop. So we really need to see how the GTO is gonna play because they have a strong range. So this is a high pair, basically either a top pair or a second pair, and might even be a pocket high pair like aces, kings. We can expect this kind of hand. So we just need to give the chance to them, and that's gonna be a half pot. Now that's quite callable, but we actually have only one option, and that's to fold. I don't know if I was gonna be tempted to erase this one, given like the opportunity. That would be like a very oversized erase, like something like this, like the all-in. Not as many, but probably like 150, and it's not even suggested, which means the GTO disapproves of this move. And it can be an over-bluffed line, basically. It's a flush, it's a straight, so yeah, a fold is best. So we did a mistake on the flop calling this one. Fold was okay, and then check was okay here, but then we had the call, which was wrong. It wasn't that much in the wrong, it's still negative EV, but can you see the read we had on the hand? We were expecting like this kind of top pairs, and he actually had the set. So GTO is betting very small when they have the knitted hand basically, and that was probably gonna be impossible to fold with a bluff. So what it goes like, it goes with just under 30% pot on the set. That's interesting. It's a downsized value bet, and fold was okay here, so we didn't, and then Didn't matter what we do, we were already on a negative EV, GTO is not gonna tell us. But obviously photo is gonna be pretty much like, it's gonna look like this. And let's have another one, Jack 9, oh, suited hand, and with the cutoff we got called by the button. So this shows us our marginal hands. We hunt like small pockets, this kind of hand, but even like small ace X cards like ace 5. And let's think this way. So if they would call with ace 5, probably won't be a raise because it's not time raise with it. But let's say they have like these 6 and 4 in their range. So one way they can be on the flush draw, and another way they have a 2-tongue straight, so they might have the 5 here, and then 7 will give them like 2-tongue straight, 8 out, so it's gonna be a good EV. Or if they have the good shot, something like 7-8 or 3-2, probably unlikely, but 7-8 would be like a possibility for them. They might also be with 7-8 suited on spades. We have sort of a blocker on the 7-8. It's like they might need 9 if they don't get the 5, so it's just one out. It's kind of okay to go a little bit aggressive against that range here. But the king is actually working in our favor. We probably want to check this one and see how they're gonna open. And that's gonna be a bet, so this signifies either a draw or a low pair. And we can either raise to find out if they have the draw, or we can call and see what's gonna happen by the turn. Definitely not a fold. Yeah, like a low raise here is fine actually. And then we just got called. Now the state completes, and this is a very tough spot because 5-7 wouldn't really value bet here, but ace with 4 and 6. Not sure how they would play it here as a GTO. Well, since it called, we can only give it again the turn. It's like we just confirmed it's not a draw, right? Because if it was like a draw, it was probably gonna fold, like 7-8 waiting for a 5. And we took the initiative by raising, and they only called, so it's not like a knitted hand. It can still be beaten, if that makes sense. Like with a 9 or a jack on the turn, we still have DV to beat it. So what we can do is, we are the out of position player, we can just check call here. This is the one possibility, and the other one is small bet. And that's probably gonna elicit a call more often than a raise, because obviously we eliminated the possibility for the straight, so we know we're up against like a mid pair basically. So let's go with a very little value bet and put pressure on those low pocket pairs. That's 7, so now they might have a straight, because obviously if they have like the pocket 5s, they would play like this. And they might realize they have a knitted hand, because we wouldn't value bet so small with the king. That's one thing. So we might be up against a straight, or even a set on the low cards, or something like 2 pair but not top pair, or just a pair. So we might want to go very small or check here. So check is gonna elicit a bet here, and that would signify weakness because you are decreasing the betting size. But this is already following the pattern. We started with 33, went to 20, I was just going 11. Better check, actually. Check and go. Okay, that's gonna be a check. So 8. They don't have to push, but we had a very good idea that we were winning against the range. Now, it criticizes us, even though we did a good read on them. And then what's happening is okay, so call was gonna be a bigger mistake than raising, so we didn't do so bad actually. So it wasn't gonna make it fold, basically having the second pair, even though it's not like on the board. Second top pair, and then the next street we kind of went too small. Basically we should have amped up the aggression against the GTO to make it fold. That's what I was saying. It is like with the king we wouldn't go so low. And then once we once we show that weakness, was gonna be impossible to make it fold. Here it's not even gonna tell us. But we didn't even like put any chips here, so basically trying to fold it was gonna be difficult. We knew that they had like a pair in their range or better, so overall we did alright. It was just gonna be a check here, not like the small bet. Basically the reason we did that is we wanted to see the last cut, thinking that our jacks and nines are gonna beat the range, but obviously the EV in this situation was a bad one, obviously negative, because it's just 6 outs we had in that case. And yeah, so let's conclude this session. We have one more hand to review, and that's gonna be the ace queen off as a button. So we have UTG with 2.5 raise. We are re-raising as the button. Then we got code, so our range is uncapped, and they have quite a strong range as well, so that might be ace 10 suited, ace jacks, king queens, jack queen, pocket jacks they can have, pocket tens will play like this. Check is alright here, but anything different than the pocket pairs, we're probably winning here, given that they only called our ace. Besides, only the ace king that can. There's only one combination. Obviously, we have one blocker, and the kings are pretty much out there. So, well, what would the pocket pair do? As the GTO, I think it was gonna be betting us, unless until it's like on the weaker ones, like under deuces wouldn't go like this, like 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly at the pocket nines would want to check this and like extra value. So yeah, ace king nines is the kind of thing that we should be careful about. Probably is gonna raise us the GTO if we go with a bet. We can still try it. We can go value bet here. That's just a call, and now this is heavily in our favor, this card. So obviously I check. We can check behind this and call the rivers because we have a strong range, but we don't want to be donating any more money. And then that's an equal race because we should have went aggressive, but obviously they had a pocket jacks, so why go aggressive GTO when we know we're gonna take our money? And then check was alright, but they did like the small value bet. And then the 3/4 was okay, and 100 because obviously we had the uncapped range and they signified the weak range, but it's gonna be difficult to fold someone with a stronger range than himself. So yeah, it's a polarizing spot, like only low cards, but we still should have been a little bit protective. So I can see why the GTO doesn't like this move. It's like either take it or leave it, basically, situation. And it's rewarding the bluffing, the oversized bet and the 3/4, compared to like the value betting here. Didn't give it like a good option. Even though the EV is almost the same. It's pretty much we're losing. We're pretty much capping ourselves going with such small bet. But yeah, capping or not, we're still faced with a very strong range. So we can bluff it actually. We can try to elicit the fold. So on the next street, what happened is we checked back, which was further capping us because now we kind of signified we don't have the king, because obviously if we had the ace king we were just gonna be waiting for that card. Yeah, that might be this mistake might be related to the fact that I would want to extract more value out of players having the knitted hand, if that makes sense. So I would just go, I would include like hands like ace king in the checking range, so basically it kind of strengthens this ace queen. And yeah, basically here wasn't given as a good option for the mixed strategy. So yeah, it wanted to play our hand as a knitted one. I kind of see the logic behind going big here. And then this pocket jacks was probably still not gonna fold on a big bet, so we kind of played yeah, so this turn was probably gonna be fold if we had to like evaluate it, because we already capped ourselves against the GTO on 2 streets. But it can't really calculate because this is not quite happening so many times, and it doesn't want to tell us because we did sort of like a blunder with this check. So what can we say here? It's definitely not bluffable by the river. We should have took our chances suggested on the flop and the turn. Something like a double barrel, oversized bet, and then check maybe, because 2 oversized bets was probably gonna be too aggressive. Maybe we could have started with 3/4 and then go oversize, something like that, or double barrel with 3/4. And, and then basically, even though the EV was not the EV, the GTO was suggesting these oversized bets, we kind of realized we were up against strong range, so going downsizing our bets was kind of okay, given that we know the enemy has like strong range. It's just like made it more difficult to bluff, if that makes sense. But this wasn't a candidate that we picked out for bluffing. It's like, yes, we have a strong range, but the board isn't exactly going in our favor, and then the turn was actually in our favor, but we already started going small, and now if we have the queen we would probably want to value bet, so it's a difficult spot, if that makes sense. Yeah, we pretty much went towards like on the defensive side when we should have been more aggressive, but I like defensive. I don't like aggressive in these kind of situations, and I think that's the last hand. So thank you for watching. Those were like interesting spots it offered us today, so it's gonna reward us as gaff. We did the best move like 16 times, only correct move 3 times, and then we had a lot of inaccuracies, which is for K we only did like 1 blunder, and that, I think, what was the blunder here actually? Oh, the last hand was the worst hand because we didn't bluff it. Thank you, GTO. We are saving chips and you still tell us it's a blunder. No, it's not a blunder, but it might actually have been a blunder. Let's see. Oh, which one does it rate as the... Is this one the blunder? Okay, I don't mind having such a blunder. I'm pretty sure there was a worse one. Let's actually check it real quick. Yeah, that's the ace 10 we had, so let's see how we did the blunder. So basically what happened is hijack opens to 5, we go, which we're not given because it was randomized. So basically we check, that was okay, then we check the turn, it was still okay, like a small bet on this, and then we messed up on the river with bluffing it. So that's our blunder. Yeah, we kind of, you can go back in the video and see that we kind of did this on purpose, so that mistake was a realized one, more like a choice. And apart from this, we liked the Jack 10 very well, which was to fold it on the flop. Oh yeah, that was the best fold on the flop against the GTO. Alright, I'll remember that. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in another session when my voice is gonna be better, so I won't have to like stop talking and like take little breaks. And that was kind of fun playing with the GTO. Let's see if we can beat it next time, and take care.